Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Coach Parker with CoachParker.org. How you guys doing today? Hey, happy holidays. I haven't been here in a while. Holidays kind of got me. We're in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, and so life got busy and kind of fell behind on my YouTube videos, but should have the next couple of months a lot of free time to make some good videos, so send over your requests and we'll get that going. Hey, this video is basically a quick video of our fall 2018 youth football season in review with KYA football over here in Keller, Texas. It's a very competitive rec league. It's got a lot of select coaches, a lot of good select players in it. But it's more into a rec format with some minimum plays in there. And this is my season in review for the fall. So here we go. Before we get started, hey, if you get a chance, can you subscribe? There's a subscribe button down below. If you can hit that, and then you'll see a little bell come up. If you can hit that, that's awesome. That helps me out a ton on YouTube, getting recognized in the search results. You also like the video, comment, share it. If you want to support me more, buy my playbooks over at CoachParker.org. And I've got some new t-shirts, Beware of the Beast t-shirts in adult sizes. If you're looking for youth sizes, email me and I'll see what I can do for you, hook you up there. Minimum of 12 if we're going to order some youth sizes for your team. I should have another t-shirt coming out along with hat. So you can find many ways to support me. But let's jump right into the season in review. So this is going to be a lot of talking, so you can jump ahead, look at the slides if you want, but I'm kind of talking a lot in this. So our previous two seasons with this little Rams team, fall 2017, we went 6-3. And then we had a major hiccup in the spring of 2017. We went 3-5. We had some issues there. Our freezes just didn't turn out the way we wanted them to go. So that's the last two seasons. Great first season, though. Great first season with the team coming up into Bantam. We're a new team in the Bantam in this age division that's moving all together. Had a little hiccup last year. This season we're moving up from Bantam into a junior division, which is a two age group division that they combined a couple of seasons ago. So you have 10-year-olds and 9-year-olds in there. Bantam players are coming up into 9. Junior players are going to be more at the higher 10 age group. So really when you move into this division, the older teams really usually have a pretty good way with you. So because we're moving up and we had a really crummy last season, we decided basically to gut our team and not freeze anybody or bring anybody forward. Usually you can bring 6 players forward, up to 6 if you want to. Normally we'll do 2 or 3 a lot of times. But we decided because we really need to get some older players, and we knew most of the teams that were going to be in the draft were returning, they would have freezes. So we might actually pull up some pretty good draft picks at the beginning of the draft and be able to get some good older players that were dropping off other teams that maybe have moved up into a senior team. We might be able to grab some of those. And so that was our strategy. Total rebuild. We'll draft older players early and pick some of our old players or players that have been on our teams later. And that's a good strategy for you guys if you're going through, and having some rough times in a league like ours. We go through a draft, but it's only in registrations for the league, and so we could keep a couple of players. So a lot of you guys, I know I just got emailed by a guy that's got that same thing. So you may sometimes need to totally rebuild, and this might be one way to do it. We've done it a couple of times, and it's worked out for us. Because this season we did do that. We got three of the top 4 picks in the draft since we didn't freeze anybody, and we knew that there were going to be a lot of returning coaches with teams, and so we played that game, and we lucked out and got 3 of the top 4 picks in the draft. The fall registration looked good. There were 7 junior teams, and most of them returning teams. Players were also looking good. There were a lot of legit running backs and linemen in there, which helped us make this determination if we were going to freeze or not to freeze. The thing that did hurt us is that we were really hoping for, there were 2 top running backs from the previous year's Super Bowl team. He moved up into the senior division and left these 2 backs down in juniors, and they were legit tier 1 running backs. And at the last minute, one coach dropped out, which a new coach came in, and he had a gentleman's agreement with freezing these guys if he got the team, and he did get the team, so he got those freezes. Plus, his dad was going to be a coach on that team, which is why they got those freezes. So they were frozen to a new team, which really kind of hurt us because we were expecting the top 3 picks, and now they took these 2 top backs. So it was a little miffed about it at first, but it seems like it happens every season. Some coach will drop, but it happened, and then we made it work. So that was all pre-draft. In draft, there were 7 teams drafting. We were going to have 16 to 17 players each on each team. There were 2 teams with 6 freezes. They were the 2 top teams that were coming back. There were 2 teams with 3 freezes. And then there were 2 teams with freezes, and there were new teams, and then us that we had 0. So, which gave us 3 of the first 4 picks and 5 of the top 12. So we did really good with our first 5 picks, except for our number 4 pick who broke his leg and never showed up, which it was haunted us in the Super Bowl against the top team, but we can talk about that later. But yeah, so we had a really good draft order for us and the numbers that we were getting. So it really worked out for us well. The other thing that was kind of weird, which really miffed me, there were 2 top teams that everybody was, and they had 6 freezes. They had their whole backfields, center and lineman and kind of thing. And I don't know why, but a returning team decided, and so he picked his first round pick, which I didn't get. And then at the end of our draft, you can trade for kids that want to get on certain teams and neighbor kind of kids. It's just a way to get some kids that may be been on your team before. But no one has ever traded probably a top 5 or 6 pick before. Definitely not their first pick that they picked in the draft. And he basically traded this hotshot running back to one of the top 2 teams that already had 6 freezes, which basically gave them 7 top picks right off the bat. And I definitely wasn't happy about this. I was pretty miffed in the draft. A lot of the other coaches were just, there was no rule for this, about this, but I will be putting in a rule that you really, and he gave up his number 1 draft pick, which I think was his 3rd round pick, for a number 8 round pick. And he said he did this because they were friends, but you could have taken, I mean, okay, but the guy lost every game after that. I mean, you can't do that. I know some of you guys want to make sure you guys have fun with your teams and stuff, but you also have to win. And his parents, I mean, it just did not go well for his team. But anyway, so that was a myth in there in the draft that kind of upset me. But we got through it. The league got through it, and he got through it, and I'm putting in a rule change this year. Basically, you can't trade a pick that's in the top 3 or 4, and then you can't trade a guy that is more than 2 or 3 away from you, unless everybody in the room agrees, kind of deal. But we'll get to that. So the draft, really, other than this guy trading away his first pick, which is a guy we'd have taken in a close round, the draft really went our way, except for another team picked up 2 fullbacks that we were trying to get. They were kind of picking some of the same guys we knew. We had an old fullback that we wanted. We knew a fullback from another team. Both of them worked out to be really good fullbacks in the league. We just missed those 2 guys, and it hurt us a little bit not having that true blocking fullback. But we lucked out. I was able to pull a hat pick, and the hat picks are guys that didn't go to the tryouts that are just put in a hat and you pick them out based on your round. And so we got a top lineman from that, and he wound up being probably one of our top 5, top 4 players on the team. We wound up with 17 total players on our team, and we were happy. Only 3 rookies and a couple of rookies that we liked. We liked 2 of them we liked, so it worked out fine for us. We were pretty happy coming out of the draft. Matter of fact, coaches of the 2 returning top teams said we were going to be very competitive based on the draft and the players that we drafted. And like I said, we felt really good coming out of the draft. We got a lot of kids on our top round board. So I was pretty happy. That's a pretty good draft, especially going in with 0 freezes, and we got the guys. And we played around with the top 3 and got the guys that we wanted based on what we thought this other team was going to pick. So it worked out for us in the long run. He did exactly what we thought he was going to do. So practice before we actually had games. Like I said, our number 4 pick, which is a top draft pick for us, he broke his leg the night before the draft. We didn't know. The league didn't know. He's out for the season. He doesn't want to come back. His parents don't let him come back. That caught up to us because that guy was a really, really good player. And it hurts to have a top 4 pick not show up. We could have definitely picked somebody else that would have fit in perfectly into what we were trying to do. And our rating system had this guy just rated a little bit higher based on a coach's reference. But the other 2, it could have been him or a select player that we didn't know, but we knew this kid. And it really hurt us there, especially against the top-rated team. We also had 3 other players quit, so we had 4 players actually quit on us, which was unique to us. One of them was a rookie who had never played before, so he didn't want anything to do with hitting, and he just didn't. I think he quit like the first week after. He didn't even like putting on his helmet, so that started there. I drafted a low-round lineman, which I wanted to take as a project because I'd liked the kid and some workouts that we've done, and everybody, I blew that one. He did not like all the hitting. We had, like I said, 3 or 4 top round tier 1 players that were big time hitters, experienced, played football for 4 or 5 seasons already at this age, and he did not like all that hitting. And we had the same thing with a backup quarterback and a starting backside corner. He just didn't like the way we were doing tackling drills. And they said we had some big players and he didn't want to get hurt that bad. So, and we found out maybe he just wanted to be quarterback. But so we had those 4 players quick. So we went to 17 to 13 within like the 2nd or 3rd week. And then those 13 that we had, it was definitely a tough roster. All of them liked to hit. They all knew what it was about. So in the end, it worked out for us. We had one game where we had somebody hurt, and we're kind of worried about what was going to actually happen. But it worked out for us, and so not too bad. We did have a little parent and a coach drama. One of the assistant coaches, after a scrimmage, some things were said. We don't know exactly. It was weird. It's still kind of weird, but we just glossed over it. We couldn't lose another player. We don't want to lose the coach. It just kind of worked out for both. The coach decided just to resign, so any drama was gone with the team, and it worked out in the end. But it's always interesting to have some of that. Our scrimmages went really good. We looked good in the scrimmages. We knew we had a good team. Everybody was doing everything. We were scoring. The defense looked tough. The 6'2" by multi-8 defense was looking good. A lot of Coach Witt was running a lot of my beast and angle and pie cake stuff. So all of that was really running. We had a quarterback was passing well. We had a great receiver wing back. We had another receiver that looked good. So we were pretty happy in scrimmages and thought everything was going great. Like I said, top picks and hat picks were looking good. And then we found a center by surprise. Of course, you put all your linemen through a center phase. One kid came out, never played center before, but was amazingly good, even in the rain. So that worked out. We moved a center that we thought was going to be a center to a guard, which worked out because he's a better blocker at that point than a center. So it all worked out. The only ugly thing in the pre-game deal that came up was the schedule. We had the top two teams, 1 and 2, right off at the first schedule. The league had actually cut a week out of practices this season. So, we're facing two teams that had their backfields already together for multiple seasons, and here we are, a new team. And so we were really hurting. And I tell you, it was raining a lot in Fort Worth, Texas this year. And I was pretty happy that the first game got rained out, and that was much needed, and that really worked out for us in a way. So I was pretty happy about that. So really, the first scheduled game that we had got rained out and gave us that much needed week to get some more practice in, which really helped us out. Like I said, so the first game versus the top team that actually wound up winning the Super Bowl was rained out. It's scheduled to the end of the season, which really worked out good for us. Second game was against another top team. It was very tough. It was raining bad. They were going to play the game no matter what. We actually got lucky, I think, in the third or fourth quarter and made a pass, and we won 12-6, and they couldn't overcome that. It was just so brutally wet and bad on the field, but worked out good for us because we're kind of a mutter team. We played 2 or 3 other teams in the rain and came out really, really well. The third game was against the Bantam Super Bowl champion team from last season. He had lost some players, but that was an easy win. I was actually out with some medical issues that game, but that was no problem. They got through that. The fourth game was a game against the team that got the 2 top running backs in the draft in the league for that age division. It was raining again. It was 21-0 at halftime, pouring down rain. We got a rain cancel win from that. They conceded that they weren't going to overcome that 21-0 deficit if we played again. Fifth game was against a new team. They had a tough defense. We got them 20-6. Sixth game was against a returning team that actually traded that number 1 pick. That was an easy win, 34-0. So the defense is looking pretty good there. We're not really having any problems. Really haven't faced a well-coached team with really good Tier 1 backs, and this is where we find them. This first game that I wanted postponed got postponed, and we met up with a well-coached team and a Tier 1 backfield and a Tier 1 back that is legit Tier 1. And that back schooled us. It was our first loss, 6-21. Tough game, but it was 0-0 at halftime. But they found the hole, and this is where not having those 2 players that I'd like to have not had quit or not show up really came in and hurt us here. It's hard to take those back. Then we hit the playoffs with the number 2. We were the number 2 seed. Won our first game, won the second game, got us into the Super Bowl. That number 2 playoff game was really good. I think we peaked on that game. And then we had the Super Bowl loss to the undefeated team that had beat us before. Our top running back had hurt his leg in practice and then wound up hurting his leg after the first play in that game. And so him going out, he's also our middle linebacker. They just chowed us down the middle all day where he was, and we wound up losing 0-27. But great season and a great comeback from what we had previously on the Rams. And we had picked up 2 or 3 guys that had played for us before. So worked out. We went from, I think, a 3-5 season to we wound up 7-2 this season. So conclusion, missing the cornerback and the top lineman that broke his leg, which were kind of flukish, that hurt us big time in the Super Bowl against a really top team. We just didn't have those players, and we couldn't hide the issues we had there for not having those players. We had a great rebuild season. We were 7-2. We're going to wind up freezing 6 players from the spring 2018, so that's going to work out good. We do need to keep building on the offense, a little bit more misdirection, more passing, since we have a passing quarterback. I know you guys are probably thinking, what? He's saying passing. But we have a legit passing quarterback and 2 receivers. We'll have our returning backfield both from this season and picking up a fullback from the last season. So we'll have a tight 6. We need to strengthen the defense in the draft for those players that kind of quit on us. So we'll need to pick up good guys to fill those positions. A corner, outside linebacker, and some D-line. Special teams, we had great kickoff, good kick return. We definitely need to expand our punt return, and we definitely need to put in a PAT kick install because a couple of the top teams are kicking. So we need to do all that and get back in it. But I feel really comfortable moving into the spring season and to the fall 2019 season with this particular team. So yeah. So hey, that was the season. So don't get frustrated if you have a bad season. There's always next year. You can retool, gut your team, get some new kids maybe, but there's always next year. So, we had a losing season. I know I was pretty upset last season, but we figured it out, got some other stuff going, and we're able to retool and redraft and get some new players there. So if you like this video, give me a like, make a comment, definitely subscribe. Share it. Hey, you can buy my playbooks over at coachparker.org. You can check out these t-shirts right here. Beware of the Beast t-shirts. They're on sale, $14.99 and up over at coachparker.org. It's a great way to support me and allow me to make more YouTube videos. I'm starting to basically do this full time now. So if you'd like me to do some more, please support me by buying my playbooks and my t-shirts if you get a chance over at coachparker.org. If you have a suggestion for a video, please leave it below. There's my 2 playbooks and the 3rd playbook, which is the Wildcat Spread, which I'm working on right now. Hopefully that will be finished up in December. And once again, this is Coach Parker with coachparker.org. Hope you guys are having a great holiday season. I know I am. I remember to play for fun, and winning is funner. See you guys next time. Ciao.